People deluded. I'm back again. Got my boy Gal here. We all know we're gonna address the elephant in the room. We're 11 points behind Liverpool. There's a guard of honor potentially awaiting. It's Mikel Arteta in or out, the board, the players, etc. Got a lot to discuss, my guy. We saying
I'm chilling. Sorry, yeah, I'm chilling. My throat got caught there. Honestly,
pause.
man, it is it's crazy how so much changes in like a week, right?
It's doom and gloom. It's doom and gloom, man. And I can't lie. It's a thing where I'm at the stage now as an Arsenal fan. If you're optimistic, I can't tell you to not be optimistic. If you're negative, I don't feel anyone connected to the club's got a leg to stand on. I feel the players, like if we talk about Arteta, the board, and the players, I feel sorry for the players the most because ultimately they are trying their best. I have to say they do struggle to get over the line. Mikel Arteta, at the end of the day, your fingers are not clean. You did take the job. You did sign a new deal. And I can't keep doing this woe is me, acting like, you saved the damsel in distress. This is a massive job. And we all know how the ownership is really and truly. Now, I can't sit here and blame the ownership as to why we're 11 points behind Liverpool, why we didn't win the league last season. I can ask questions about everything else. But that's what I've got you here for, man. If I share my screen, obviously there's a couple of things, if anyone's been living under a rock, unfortunately at this moment in time, with a game in hand, if you're still optimistic, let me remove this. But yeah, big up a girl every time. But so you lot can see it, we're 11 points behind with a game in hand. Obviously, for me, if you're still optimistic, our chances have dropped of winning a league title to 7.4%. Obviously, Mikel Arteta's comments were quite damning about us not being at the level required against West Ham, which for me is a shame, man. I never get I know it's not a best example, gal, but the kill or die kind of vibe. Like we're leaving it all out there. I'm not saying they're not trying to win, but I do think the manager's bang on. Naturally, he has to take responsibility. But the first port of call, man, I did see this tweet, and I do think it provides a great talking point with me and you, my boy. You said, I don't care about any, I don't care. I think you mean what, but I don't care about anybody says Arsenal still on track. I've not lost faith in this team and our projected future. What do you mean by the projected future, and why haven't you lost faith? For anyone that has obviously lost faith.
Okay, first you said something about feeling sorry for the players. I feel sorry for the manager because I feel like he has been let down by the board. I feel like he's been let down in the January window. He's been let down in the summer window. He was let down when they didn't get Vlahovic over the line, when they didn't get what do you call it, Isaac over the line, when they didn't get Bruno Guimaraes over the line. There's been so many signings over the past couple of years that were potential game-changing signings, which we were heavily linked to. We even made bids for some of them, and we just didn't deem the value worth getting at the time. And looking back, some of those signings could have potentially been game changers. And I really do look at the Arsenal board saying they are the ones most culpable for this situation that we're in a January window where we had so many injuries. You had to go sign somebody in a summer where we needed to kick on. Let's be honest, our summer transfer window was terrible. And as a fan base, we all have to look back at it and say, what were they thinking? What were these guys thinking? Who is in charge of the club and making these decisions? Because I find it hard to believe that Arteta was saying, you know what, let's find a solution instead of Zinchenko at left back, but then also said, let's not go get a forward. I don't believe for 1 second Arteta did not want a forward this past summer. And to link it back to what I'm saying here, this tweet specifically, I'm talking about the people who are saying this is it. Arsenal's finished. Saliba is gonna leave. Everything's gonna go to shits next season. Next season, Man City's going to be back. Chelsea's going to be better. Man United's going to be better. Everything's doom and gloom. Arsenal missed their best opportunity to win the league. We got told that 2 years ago. We missed our best opportunity to win the league when Saliba got injured. Saliba got injured. We got told, deal with injuries. This is part of the game. Injuries happen. You have to deal with it. The same rules don't apply to Man City. The same rules don't apply to Liverpool. When Liverpool lost Van Dijk, basically everyone said, you know what? Understandable. They lost Van Dijk. When Man City lose Rodri, understandable. They lost Rodri. But when Arsenal lose Saliba, no, it's not understandable. You have Rob Holding. Get on with it. And I just think we're held to a different standard because we have not won the league recently, because we haven't won a major in a long time. We're held to a different standard from rivals, and maybe it's because of our own fans, or maybe it's just because we are one of the most hated clubs in the Premier League. And yeah, I'm not trying to do this whole victim thing. Forget about the victim mentality.
I don't think you are.
Simply just getting back to the main point. Arsenal are not going anywhere. We still have Saka, we still have Odegaard, we still have Saliba Gabriel, we have a decent back line, goalkeeper, midfield, we still have solid pieces. We just need a couple key players to be added into this team. We don't need a major overhaul like Man City do with their defense and their midfield. We don't need to re-sign three key pieces like Liverpool do currently. And I think if Arsenal go into the same team that we have this season going to next year with two forward players and a midfielder, improving the team, I think that's enough to get us over the line. I think this team this season would have enough to get over the line if it wasn't for a couple things going against us. But hey, fair play to Liverpool. They've been the better team, and they are going to go on to win it. And I pretty much conceded. Congratulations to Liverpool. You've won it. We can't do nothing at this point, and it's unfortunate because that's now 3 years in a row. And I can't remember the last time somebody 3 years in a row came in second and didn't win a league title in that time period.
Are you not concerned about that? Yeah, because obviously I'm not doing the doom is gloom thing, but you kind of indirectly alluded to a talking point with Arsenal fans about this one leaving, that one leaving, etc. You know, our former manager Arsene Wenger used to talk about stamina and motivation. I have plenty of question marks over Mikel Arteta. Admittedly, I'm a lot harsher than you. I don't think anyone's got a leg to stand on. I think it's like they've committed a crime. Everybody's fingerprints are on the scene, right? But our old manager used to say stamina and motivation. Now, I do think Mikel Arteta said that, does that. I do think he wants to win. It's more how he's going about it, right? But do you think this could have a negative effect? Because yeah, you could say, you know, we're so close, but we're so far, we're galvanized. But do you think it could be damning in that, you know, because it is physically draining? 2022, 23, we fought for it. Last year, we fought for it. The season isn't done, but it's basically done on that front. Do you feel it could be hard potentially to get, I don't know, the players galvanized again? Because this has got to be physically draining. You know, there's a potential guard of honor looming as well.
Honestly, we've already given Liverpool a guard of honor under Mikel Arteta and beat them back in 2020 COVID season, right? So giving them a guard of honor, if it happens, if it doesn't happen, at this point we don't control when that happens. If Liverpool win all their games and we win all our games from now, we still give them a guard of honor because it's the third last game. They have an 11-point gap. Unless we at least make up a 4-point gap from now until the end of the season, which I don't think we have a leg to stand on to do so. And when our heads drop, I don't even have confidence to go say we're gonna beat Nottingham Forest midweek, bro. Let alone not give them a guard of honor. That it seems destined that they're gonna win the league with games to go. They're gonna win the league with at least 3 games to go, and that means we play them the third last game of the season. They would have already won the league. I think it's worse if it's close. I think it's worse if we still have that sense of false hope because there was never any guarantee we were going to go to their ground and win. There was never any guarantee we're going to go to Chelsea at home, Manchester United away, Nottingham Forest away, and win all these
games. Newcastle as well.
Bro, these guys let us down in the January window. They needed to do something. They basically said the season's a write-off. And we all said that in January. They writ off the season themselves. Now, Arteta is going to get held accountable for his substitutions. He's going to get held accountable for his decisions in game. He's going to get held accountable for how he sets up the team and instructions that he gives them throughout the 90 minutes. The players, their performances, the captain, they get held accountable too. But I really do think we can't do anything to stop the guard of honor. It's going to happen.
So where do you stand? Where do you stand on Mikel Arteta and Plan Bs or finding solutions? Because I know there's been injuries and there's been all of these things, and many people could sit here and say, "What do you expect him to do?" There's a bunch of kids. Now, as ridiculous as it sounds, I do think you have to find something. I do think one thing, and I always say this. I said this to you last week. I like the fact that Mikel Arteta can plan a team, what he wants to do, what the opponent wants to do. He knows them better than himself. But you see, if something goes wrong, I think there's an issue. And I think that is reflected on and off the field. I think too many favorable conditions at this club at this moment in time have to go right for us to win a league title or win certain games in those moments, like you saw with West Ham, where we didn't put the ball in the back of the net. We switched off and conceded a poor goal. Where do you stand on him not finding a plan B? Because Obviously, there's been injuries at this moment in time, but there's also been several times, maybe last season, when we've had a full strength side and we've still kind of said that.
Arteta has not found a plan B. He's found a plan A, B, C, D this season, and he's been and now he needs to go find a set of plan E. How many times are we gonna? Is he gonna try to keep changing the plan? Because let's think about it. Plan A, your attackers are fit, ready to go. You create in open play and you score. You score a beautiful goal like we have been doing in certain games. Plan B, set pieces. If you need an equalizer, you have set pieces. That is the great equalizer. That is our 20 goal a season player. Liverpool have Mo Salah, Erling Haaland at Man City. We have set pieces. Plan
They've
C.
got inevitable players, bro.
You know what Plan C is? For
No, but I'm
me,
about to find out.
Plan C for me is actually the auxiliary forwards that we have, like the Kai Havertz, like the Mikel Morenos, those guys who
You
are
don't
not
think Kai's plan A?
necessarily. I don't think that's Plan A. I think Plan A is when fully fit. Are sorry, Kai Havertz is the Plan A. I mean, Mikel Morenos like a Plan C. You know what I mean?
Plan F, bro. I can't lie, bro. I
Okay.
can't lie.
And then the final thing when everything else goes to shit. The
Mm.
final thing when everything else goes to shit is at that point, forget about your defensive philosophies and push forward and try to throw the whole kitchen sink at it. And that is like what we do in like the last 20, 30. That's
think
what
he
we
struggles
usually
to
do
do
in the
that?
last 10 minutes of games when we create the most chances. When we just throw the kitchen sink at it, you see Ben White in the box, you see Declan Rice at the edge of the box, you see everybody there. So I don't think Arteta does not have other plans. I just think the effectiveness of those plans are being questioned because of the injury situation, because of the fact that we've not been performing. But last year, when all of those things were coming up, you know what they were saying? You're lucky. You're getting last minute winners. You're lucky. You're
Fuck what
winning.
the outside noise says, Gal, man. You know that's one thing that annoys me, and I think us Arsenal fans, yeah, obviously we want consistency by the referees. We definitely want consistency with the way we're spoken about. I don't necessarily think social media mirrors life, yeah, but you're on social media like myself, and you alluded to it at the beginning. You know, there's one rule for one and there's 10 rules for others. And we've for me with the Lewis Skelly thing, it's a bit weird. Like you're seeing grown West Ham fans doing the celebration outside the
I seen
stadium,
an
right?
Aston Villa fan calling Lewis Kelly an asshole.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I get it. The game's the game. We're becoming hated. I don't really care about us being hated because everybody loves City right now. Everybody hated them 5 minutes ago. Everyone kind of loves Liverpool now because we've bottled it or whatever. Everybody hated them when they're winning stuff. And I must admit, I've got nothing but respect for West Ham United and Newcastle and Brighton and teams of this ilk here. But bro, I'm seeing their fans draw us out. Newcastle are going to be a problem, but I'm seeing their fans draw us out. They would love to be in our position. Yeah, they can banter us and whatnot. West Ham are 15th or whatever, and United fans are laughing at us. You actually should have asked for us to win. But I hate the outside validation, bro. It jars me, man. Our Arsenal fans, we have to deal with it. Go back to the days of George Graham, bro. We're supposed to be hated. And I just don't care. I think we need to get away from what they have to say, whether it's rightly or wrongly. I do want to ask you
I don't know
about.
how you do.
Go
I
on.
don't know how you do the thing where you don't get carried away though, because I've been watching you for years. It seems like you doesn't matter what happens. I don't see you yelling and screaming. We're gonna do it. We're gonna win, and yelling and screaming. Like you're kind of calm
Because I
24/7.
don't believe it yet. Like, I don't believe it yet.
You
I
didn't
promise
believe
you.
it 2 years ago.
No. Because I know there's certain things missing. There
You
will
didn't
be a
believe
day
it
when I
last
can.
year.
Huh? No, no. Last year was more believable, but at no point it feels feasible. It's just for me, kind of what you've alluded to. I feel, for me personally, I don't feel there's enough depth. I don't, and we're going to get onto the ownership. I don't think the ownership want to be winners. I think Arteta wants to win, but I feel you're not capitalizing on the small, fine margins. I love my players, but I just don't see it 9 times out of 10 more often than I'm not when we're backs are against the wall and it's sink or swim. You look at the semi-finals against Newcastle or the West Ham game, and I know you can lose, but when things go wrong, I need to see it. And I would love to ask my players. I know there's been injuries, fatigue, all of this jazz, but they didn't perform like a team that knows this is last chance saloon. And as you said at the start, me and you can waffle about all the players we'd like and the signings and stuff. If I see these things and more the small margins that Mikel Arteta has to rest, I promise you on YouTube, I'll be saying we're going to win this and that. I just feel for me, there's the illusion of a perfect season. As you know, like in life, bro, like whether you've got, married, a job, kids, lost a job, tried to get a better one. It's never just from A to B in it. There's bare different avenues and all of those kind of things. Now, I believe going into a season, too many favourable conditions have to go for Arsenal. We can't accept a late minute equaliser and turn that around. We have to assume no one gets injured. We have to rely on respectfully players that are in great runs of form and just hope they maintain it. I feel when I look at the other teams beyond the obvious, we don't have that inevitability. Saka at a push is what we've got. You're going against Mo Salah, you're going against Haaland, you're going against all the other stuff, right? I don't see it. And where you look at City and Liverpool, they show me there's two different ways, bro, of winning a title. Obviously, City threw money at it, became Barcelona B, won Premier Leagues before Pep Guardiola, but Pep's been the big bad bully. Liverpool now, they're similar to us. Me and you both know they're American owners like ours don't give a flying monkeys. You know, it looks great because Onslaught's walked in and all of that kind of things. They let that man have 3 key players contracts running down, brought in a half-fit Chiesa, and even Liverpool fans weren't happy about the January, right? And you look at Klopp as well. He didn't get that kind of money. But then you look at what Onslaught's doing in the league and Klopp. He's managed to, whatever way he's done it, don't know how, he's got over the line. I feel at best that is what I want to see. And when you think of Liverpool, you do think of mentality. I do think we've got mentality. I do think it's improved. But that in terms of cold-hearted winners, I don't know what it is, bro. We can't shake it. So when I see these things like the opposite, I'll be with you on YouTube saying we're gonna win this, that, and the other. I just can't see it, my brother.
You know why I feel some sympathy for Arteta? The progression and the expectations have gotten to a level where he's being victimized from where he has gotten us to. Now, don't get me wrong. Until we get over the line, we should be held to a certain expectation and standard. I understand that. But then comes the emotional investment. So as a fan, we're deeply invested in this. We're deeply emotional about it, and everybody deals with their emotions differently. Certain people, like Yardman, will come on the channel and will say, Arteta's the problem, get him out, and then everything's going to be better. Now, I don't think you sack Arteta, it's going to rectify our recruitment issues. I don't think you sack Arteta is going to rectify all of our issues, and we're all of a sudden going to pick up a difference of 12 points to win next season. Right? Then you go to the difficulty of the Premier League. At times, people feel like we have a divine right to win. Man City, they just came off winning 2 league titles. We were in a good position. First time we're challenging for the league under Mikel Arteta. People are talking like, if you don't win now, you need to leave because this team is too good. This the situation we found ourselves was too good.
To be fair though, wasn't everybody kind of saying in the summer like the gloves are kind of off, Arteta kind of has to deliver now. We've been the second best team. A lot of people were saying when City fall off, we're gonna be there. Obviously, City have fallen off, we're not there.
I was gonna get to that. The final part is the lack of squad depth and key individual injuries has given Arteta the biggest lifeline for the next for another season, in my opinion, because of the injuries to the likes of Martin Odegaard, a bunch of the defenders. I could sit here all day and name all of them, and then on top of that, don't forget the attack, Jesus, everybody else. Like, I know what the Kroenke said; they did not buy the Arsenal stakes to win trophies, but that was Stan, if I'm not mistaken. Josh Kroenke, I believe.
We'll get onto that. Don't worry, we'll get onto this.
Also, I believe that the Kroenkes have changed. The Kroenkes might not be the best football owners, but in North American sports, they have turned
on TV.
They have turned into one of the best sports owners in America. The Denver Nuggets are competitive every year. The LA Rams, they have the best like backroom staff in the LA Rams. They won the Super Bowl. They've been to the Super Bowl twice in recent years. Their lacrosse team, bro, is winning trophies. Their hockey team is winning trophies. Every team that they own has won a major North American trophy.
Apart from
us, the last 7 years, except for Arsenal. Every team.
So they don't care.
They do care. It
bothers how can I'm about to flip it and actually not back the Kroenkes, but this is where I think everyone's thinking. But how can you say they care, bro? Like you mentioned bigger teams that have just won stuff. We ain't won nothing. Yeah, we got a good
but they're competing. Bro, there has been a clear change in their managing style of all their organizations. In the early 2010s to the late 2010s, they were really like one of those owners that were considered cheap and didn't really care.
Yeah, but in 2018 they became full owners.
They took all their teams. They turned all of their teams at the same time within a 6-year period. Every single team that they own has become massively competitive. I don't think the Cronkies are the problem. I think the people that they trust at Arsenal, they give the trust into the wrong people, and they don't believe that they don't have like the type of ownership where they say, we need this player, go and get it no matter what. They're not that type of owner. They're the type of owner who put the people in charge, and the people who they put in charge, they trust them faultlessly to the point where they say, we will trust you with the finances and how much goes out, and it's up to the Arsenal board. It's up to the Tim Lewises, the Richard Garlicks, Josh Kroenkes. They're the ones that run the club to the T. Stan has no say over the day-to-day at Arsenal, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's flip that then. Whether you're right or I'm right or you're wrong or whatever, yeah, like I'm wrong, whatever, right? Obviously, they've made Mikel Arteta the manager, not the head coach. I hear you with, and I do for what it's worth, and that's why I said everybody's to blame, because even if Arteta didn't want strikers or whatever, you can't look at the summer, let alone January, the pit stop, the last chance saloon, and say we didn't need things, right? But they've made him the manager. They've broken the club transfer record with him. They've given him a new deal. They signed him initially when he didn't have a leg to stand on. For every comment, which I think is right about, directors not doing what they need to do, we also hear that when we sign players, Mikel Arteta is the driving force. Not everybody was convinced he gets his way, and likewise, there's also conflicting rumors that we were suggested players he didn't want them. So if they're backing him, quote unquote, to this degree, whether he's being backed enough is another thing. But whether they're backing him to this degree, and he has regressed the team arguably, and we're 11 points behind, and we finished 2 points behind last year. Surely Arteta's got to take some sort of like there's got to be some accountability, bro, because if we went and won the league by 11 points, everyone from the high heavens will be praising Arteta. So I just want to know, like, at what point do we ask genuine questions? Because, bro, if we rate him this highly, like we rate Saka, right? If Saka has a bad game, we're going to ask questions. If he has a good game so far, I actually feel Mikel Arteta is becoming the Phil Foden of managers. And what I mean by that is when you do well, praise. When it's time to stand up to be counted or do things, there's issues. So at what point, like, do we hold Arteta accountable? And even if I kind of flip it back, yeah, we can waffle about the Cronkies until we're blue in the face. Clearly, this is how they run the club. As you've alluded to, they get the people in place. If Arteta needs to be back, that's another thing. But surely he has to win within the contexts of how they operate the club, like Klopp, like Slot's about to do. So, like, how far does it go, man? Like, how far do we keep having seasons like this before we think about something else, whether that guarantees success or not? Because we don't know if sacking him means success. We don't know if keeping him, we're going to get over the line. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Would it make sense? Would it make sense to let go of him right now? Deluded. Do you
today?
Yeah.
No, obviously not today. The season is not done, and we're not going to go and get the mad manager that can get over the line. My personal position is I'm not pitchforking the guy out, but I don't think he has a leg to stand on. I think there's a lot of great things you've done. As I said to you last week, for me, it's just about getting over the line, like all the things you've done, rightly or wrongly, we've got to this point. If you cannot get over the line, there has to be a cut-off point or some sort of way where we try something different. I wouldn't sack him necessarily, but if he was sacked, I don't think you can cry. I can't see a reason to defend and under certain things that are undefendable. And likewise, I don't feel just because you're frustrated about us not winning the Premier League that you can sit there and behave like we're United or we're shit, we're this, that, and the other. I just think collectively as a club, we're doing the same old things, even down to the point where, bro, when we're dropping points, it's against the same old teams as last season. And indirectly, it is the same old kind of contexts. Like last season, there was no injuries. This year, there's been injuries. Unfortunately, as naive as it is, as you know yourself, winners win and losers explain, and it feels like we're doing a lot of explaining, bro. So that's where I am. I wouldn't sack him necessarily, but if there was a Xabi Alonso available and it was feasible, I love my club more than Arteta, innit? I think there's a debate to be had.
I could say the same thing. Obviously, I love the club more than Arteta also, but me defending Arteta does not mean I don't. That I don't. You know what I mean? I'm simply saying that Odegaard out for 3 months, Saka out for 3 months, White out for a couple months, Jesus out for 5 months, Havertz out for the rest of the season, Martinelli missing games, the whole defense. Bro, it gets to a point where it's just untenable to continue to think you're going to play at the same quality level to go on to compete, to win every game and go and accumulate the level of points needed to win the league when you have that level of injuries. Now, I've seen Pep do some amazing things with the level of injuries that he's had, but he's had a much better squad than us. it comes down to it. I think our squad toe to toe could go toe to toe with Liverpool. It's just the injuries has cost us, and they have an edge right in Mo Salah, who's about to break the assist record and the goal record in the same season. You, it's just difficult to compete when you're going up against greatness like that, and and at this point, everything I say is almost going to sound like an excuse for the manager. But the reality situation is, I
No,
don't blame
I don't think
Arteta
you're wrong
because
necessarily.
I believe Arteta is not solely responsible for the accumulated points dropped that has cost us to
He's
not win
definitely
this
not. But
league.
then, what percentage do you throw on that he is accountable? Because I think everybody's to blame. Like in a period like this, it's reflection. I feel Arteta has some stuff he has to be accountable for. The players ultimately are the ones playing, and obviously the ownership. And I don't think anyone's faultless. In the same way, if we won, I'd give everybody their praise. But like, how far is it going? Like Arteta has surely, bro, surely. Like as much as I agree with you, what you're saying about Mo Salah and things, and we all know you can't win every game over a 38 game calendar. We came into this season for me knowing about five margins in a good way. I don't really care about what we're good at. Take the good and make it better. It's the small margins. It's the West Ham's at home. It's the two times in a row against Brighton. Yes, you could say dodgy penalty or refereeing
Red card.
decisions, red card. But in them both them games, we still could have won. We did it against Wolves. We do not do that often enough. We came into this knowing that. You look at the Aston Villa game where we're 2 goals up. I can't blame the Cronkies for that. That is on Arteta and the players. We're 2 goals up. We didn't go with the 3 points. It's them fine margins. When you deep
Honestly,
it,
you could
it's
you
them
could
three, four
spin it
games
both
that make
ways.
up our season.
You could spin it
Pardon?
both ways, Dalude. You could say if we went and got a forward, even if we're down to 10 men, we would have had a better ability to go and finish those chances. Now, I'm not going to put the whole not signing a forward on Arteta. Think about it. How many players did he want to sign in since he's been here in those forward positions that the club haven't gotten for one reason or another? How many times? I'm blaming Edu, who's left. I'm blaming Eto, who's still there. I'm blaming Richard Garlick. I'm
And that
blaming
harsh on
Tuniers.
Ito though.
I'm
Like
blaming
the
the
man's
Arsenal
been
board.
Edu's number 2, and he's even been put into a position of boots he can't fill mid-season. Like, can you really blame a novice? Really? Or surely that's either with the ownership.
Okay, what about this? How is Arsenal competing for a league with not one goal scorer in the top 10? And I don't think we have any creators
That's why I'm
also.
blaming everybody. That's where I get
So
I blame. That's why I blame everyone.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the players underperforming. I'm looking at the team underperforming. I'm looking at the Arsenal team lacking key pieces, and we're still finding ourselves in a way showing more fight than the team that's won 4 league titles and has a better squad than us and has one of the best strikers in the world, and Phil Foden and all these other people down there nowhere near us, not even close to competing with Liverpool. And we have been the only team pushing them up until this point. I think Arteta has done his best work at his time at Arsenal this season, trying to manage with terrible circumstances. And I
Yeah,
don't
but they're
think
not unique to us, bro. We've seen man get injuries, bro. Like, I'm not saying you, but I do think, there's a thin line between it being commendable, Moreno up front, injuries were still second, and just downright incompetence. Like, for me, I checked out, I'm sure we said this on the stream last week, sorry. I checked out in the summer, whether it's down to Arteta and him not working with the budget, whether ownership, haven't given him enough money. We came into this season with a depleted squad. I've heard my manager waffle twice, maybe even 3 times
if
last
our
season.
team was fit, we'd be winning this league. We're not that far
Yeah,
off.
but that's favorable conditions. It's all ifs and buts. And also, I could ask
No,
you,
but Liverpool have had favorable conditions.
yeah, but last season
That's
they
not
had injuries. The year
debatable.
before that, they had injuries. We had favorable conditions last year, bro. Everyone was fit, surely. 2 very different seasons. We still ain't holding nothing. That's my point. Like, everyone's got to hold that. Like, I'm not saying selling Eddie and Ketty or loaning out Fabio Vieira, selling Smith Rowe were wrong decisions. The club made money, they wanted to go. But could you argue, because we had a weakened squad, and I genuinely think you could have looked at last season, not you, but you could have looked at last season and said, we had a clean run with injuries, bearing in mind 3 key players were still out. Could we have kept them players? They might not have made the difference, but there'd be more bodies on the pitch. Like, I do think it's clear. Like, you look at even Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka for Arsenal in England, they've been playing a lot of games. Like, we knew we were running them into the ground, man. That's why for me, bro, as I keep saying, Arteta, the board, the players, everybody's in this for me. It's again, I said it last week to you. If you go and break something at your grandma's house and you're there with your cousins, is she gonna be like, "Oh, hey, girl, you're not gonna get beats"? Everyone's getting beats for breaking shit. Everyone's in this for me, man. Like the gloves have to be off for everyone. I can obviously pinpoint blame, have a bit more sympathy. I'm just disillusioned, man. Don't know what's going on.
I feel the same way. I am disillusioned. The team let me down. The players let me down, and it's almost like yesterday's win for Liverpool almost just puts you out of your mercy. It doesn't give you that false
Hopefully,
sense of hope anymore. It
you
gives
know
you a
there's some
sense of
Arsenal
mercy.
fans out there with hope still, though, bro.
Nah, anybody who still has hope is honestly just like those people who say, "Wait until the fat lady sings," you know? That
She's warming
like,
up her vocals already, man.
yeah, like it's done. Liverpool are champions elect, and it's not even conceding anymore. It's just, do you even back us to win versus Nottingham Forest? Like that's the real question. Because we play Nottingham Forest on Wednesday away, and it's really not going to be an easy game. That's going to
Could you
be a
be
tough
optimistic
game.
after their result yesterday? I know it was 4-3, but certain elements.
I know, but they still scored 3 goals. What's the chance of us scoring 4 goals today with what we have?
But do we even create enough chances? Like I hear it
We
because I
create
remember
chances,
when
we
Wenger
just
used to
don't
have
finish them.
injuries,
That's what
you
I've
could
been.
still see a way of playing. Are we even beating PSV as well? It's looking dark.
We create chances, bro. It's just we don't have goal scorers. Our best goal scorer is actually like Mikel Moreno and a center back at set pieces. Like that is our best goal scoring opportunities we're gonna create in these games. Like, and also, I don't like the fact that Odegaard gets so much hate, but it's somewhat deserving
Yeah, let's
because
talk about Odegaard, man. Give us your thoughts on the Capitano, man. Like we have to discuss it, innit?
I think I spoke about it last show. Did I not?
I don't think
I
we
think
did, you know. I
what?
actually don't think we did. I don't think we did. If we did, then we did. But
I
yeah,
think
West Ham
Odegaard,
game.
I think Odegaard can be replaced or at least shifted to an 8 role. He's not a 10 man. He can be moved to the 8. He can create a lot of chances for us from the 8, but he is not a finisher. He's not a goal scorer. He's not somebody who takes the game by the scruff of the neck and goes and drives the team and wins it for you by himself. He's a good player in a good team that can contribute massively towards winning, but I don't think he is the ideal game changer.
Do you think he's
You know,
captain
you
material
just
then?
you just spoke about Phil Foden earlier.
Mm.
Martin Odegaard is one of those guys who does get criticism when we don't win, but when we win, he gets praised a lot because of his influence
Do
in
you
the
think he's
game.
captain material?
He's one of those captains who lead by example, and if it's not going well for him, he really doesn't have anything else. Also, he does dictate. Like he's like a I'm not gonna say he's a coach, but he's like an assistant on the pitch.
He's a lieutenant on the pitch. That's why
Yeah,
he's got that complicated role in the team.
yeah. But hey, I think Martin Odegaard could be shifted more to an 8 position going forward and less of a 10, because
So what does that mean for us? Who's playing as the 8? And it seems like Arteta is not running away from that. And even if we sign Zubimendi as the 6, what would that mean in if that happened in midfield for you?
we need a world class midfield. You need multiple players. You can't have just 3 starters. Ideally, this season we have about 6 midfielders that we could rotate, and I'm still confident with that midfield. Where going forward, we're gonna have 3 or no, we're gonna have 4. We're gonna need to sign at least 2 midfielders next season, regardless
Give us
if we
roles.
lose Mendy or not. And Odegaard for me playing in the 8. Rice can play in the 6. Rice can play in the 8. Odegaard can play in the 10. It just gives us more cover. But really and truly, I don't think Odegaard is going to be the priority to be taken out of this firing line this season. He's going to have to get his shooting boots back up and running. Sorry, let me
He's,
just
he's
mute.
gonna minor man. He's gonna have to do a lot, man. And I would say, you know what, if it wasn't Martin, if we never had these injuries, if it wasn't Martin Odegaard, we know on his day what he can do, the technical ability and whatnot. But for me, if you're not doing that, yeah, he's dictating and doing all of that. If he's not doing that, then essentially he's just pressing, and that's a form of defending. Like if that was other players, I would say that's all gear, no idea. And I'm not putting this on Martin Odegaard. I'm being purely devil's advocate because I do think there's some deeper lying issues with, as I said, I think our mentality is improved. But when it's crunch time, we're not moving like warriors. I think it's on brand that Martin Odegaard is our captain and is crumbling, and the whole team is crumbling. He's almost, if I'm really negative, that's
Rice is
almost
more
the
of a
perfect
captain.
fit. Pardon?
Rice is more of a captain for what I consider a traditional captain.
Gabriel as well.
Gabriel as well, yeah. Um, Martin Odegaard might not be captain material, but still, he did create 4 chances in that game. To who? I can't remind you.
That's why stats don't lie, but they don't always tell the truth, if I'm honest with you. Like, did you see that clip? And I actually think people are being a bit harsh, but you see, I'm sure you've seen that clip on social media of Odegaard running into a congested space and people saying you're not sharing for the ball and whatnot. I don't think he does that. That's why I don't understand when some of
What
our
do you think
fans are
about
comparing
that?
him to Ozil.
Do you think he's hiding?
I don't think in that scenario he was hiding. I actually think if people watch it again, Ethan's running centrally, he's running out there. Generally, I do think Odegaard's is hiding. He might have injuries. There might be something going on in the man's personal life. He could just be in poor form. I do think you're hiding.
Is
I
that
think
the
several
manager's
players are hiding.
instructions that Ethan's supposed to be the attacking player is supposed to be central, and the midfielder has to run
In
wide?
that particular phase of play, obviously, if Ethan runs to the right, he's got more ground to cover. Ethan's making a darting run like this. I think Odegaard's doing that. So naturally you go inside, right? So I think with that, I do think in general he's hiding. I think several players are hiding. I think the fact that he didn't have a good game, a young 17-year-old, and you could say MLS as well. The fact that they 9 times out of 10 are standing up to be counted. I think a lot of people are hiding. As I said, I don't see gladiator stuff. I can only speak for myself. Yeah, as much as it would have been disappointing to lose to West Ham, which we did, and all of those kind of things, you've got no divine right to win a game of football or win everything, kind of what you said earlier. But you see, if I could say, you know what, we gave it our all, you done what you did, they were just a better men on the day, I can't ask anything more. I don't think that. I think there's too many, and things happen across the season, but at this
Everyone was
moment in
terrible.
time,
Yeah.
bro, I can't. I'm seeing people hide. I'm not seeing people create. I'm seeing my manager again, a bit like Newcastle away, not knowing what the hell he needs to do. I'm seeing Benjamin White's having efforts, and the goal we conceded. Odegaard's lost it on the transition. Calafiori, Gabriel, Declan Rice, all of these guys who have done well for us on other occasions. It's not good enough. It's on brand. I need a lot more courage. And until I see certain things that we've suggested, and that I can't sit here with chest and saying
Did
we're
we
going
make
to
a
win
mistake
titles.
signing Calafiori?
Pardon me?
Did we make a mistake signing Calafiori?
I don't think so. I don't think
Is
so.
he
I
the
can
problem,
understand.
or is it misprofile?
I don't even think he's misprofiled. I just think you're behaving like a 22-year-old. I'm not saying he's going to be great for us, but the very man that I said when you said Rice is more of a captain, I said Magalhaes. He's been here. He signed for us at 22. Where is he now at 27? I'm cool with Calafiori. I think he's like a bull in a china shop. I think he needs to improve a lot defensively. Obviously, nobody could see it, but in hindsight now, with MLS essentially coming out of nowhere and being a better option for you at this moment in time, it does look like a waste of money. And I don't agree with it necessarily, but being devil's advocate, kind of what you're saying, you could look to the summer and say, okay, Arteta, on one hand, the board have done you dirty. They ain't giving you enough peas, but you've got a budget. Did you need to sign another left back? If you could only sign, obviously Marino's probably here for the squad, but if you needed a game-changing centre mid and a depth one, did you have to go for Marino? I don't think Calafiori's been a waste. He's probably been the best of the summer signings, but then you look at our summer signings, it was a fallacy if Arsenal fans genuinely thought last season's form was going to continue, players' form was going to sustain across the season, and was never going to get injuries and things. None of these signings that we signed at the moment of walking into this football club were level raisers. Like, they weren't. Raheem Sterling on deadline days at L.
Right now, Liverpool win the league. Are they the best constructed team next season to win it again?
Say that again.
Is Liverpool, as currently constructed, the best team going into next season if they don't lose, say, Mo Salah and Van Dijk?
If you don't lose Mo Salah and Van Dijk, then you've got a big chance of fighting once again. They need to do stuff. As stated, they need to do things in the market, but they've got a big chance. They've been up there a couple of times. Obviously, when it's been Arsenal and City, fighting, Liverpool have been there and abouts. Even last season, they were top. So they definitely have a base to build on. There's definitely question marks. Say that again.
Mo Salah looks like he's gone. And if I'm him, I'd probably leave on a high, win the trophy.
I hear that. And naturally, replacing Salah is easier said than done. Like, that's an L, but they've got a platform. And I do think there can't be any complacency. I don't think Liverpool fans are Arne Slot's complacent. It's going back to what we said in that FFG. They found a way to do it. Their owners clearly don't care. They found a way to do it. They done that manager dirty. That's where I'm looking at Mikel Arteta. On one hand, yeah, the owners, this, that, and the third, they're not doing you nicely. There's no director. By the end of the day, no one put a gun to your head to be here. You like it so much that you signed a new deal. Of course, I'm being a bit out of context, and I know you're never going to say the truth of how you really feel about your bosses or whatever, but you sit here and say they're the best owners in the world. You like the job so much that you signed a new deal and you've got responsibility. And I'm looking at Arne Slot and I'm looking at Klopp. They found a way to make it work within the conditions. I don't think I can sit here and everything plays a part, but I can't look at the owners why we're 11 points off Liverpool. I don't know why you didn't get it over the line last year. I think there were several games, but I can't just blame them, bro. Like, I do think we've got a good base and all of that kind of stuff, and we need to add quality, which is why I said at the start, just because I can have question marks about my team, about the owners, about Mikel Arteta, I don't need to behave like we're getting relegated and things, because that's not true. The devil is in the details, unfortunately, and it seems like that is the issue. We always come out and speak about fine margins, bro, and when we don't ever seem to be on the right side of that, there's, as I said earlier, brother, there's about 3 or 4 games this season that you just feel if Arsenal got over the line, if that defeat turned into a draw, if that draw was a win, what are we celebrating? And I came into this season with that same mentality. And unfortunately, bro, if nothing changes, nothing changes, you know. Now you obviously look at the injuries, and I think this has probably been, well, statistically, it is. It's probably been the shittest title challenge we've been part of in these 3 years. The first year, no one expected that. Last year, as you said rightly so earlier, we're going to fall away, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We fought right to the end. This year, it's been shit from minute one, really. You know, the summer highlights that. January, your last kind of pit stop highlights that. Obviously, around December and January, we saw players get injured and it confounded things. And I think the club, maybe to Arteta to a degree, I'm not a fly on the wall, I don't know who, whatever, but we didn't fix the roof while the sun was shining. We're waiting until the room is flooded to be talking about stuff. Everything me and you speak quite a lot. Everything me and you have spoken about, we've kind of seen it play out, bro. Me and you have said, if Saka gets injured, what's going on? If Benjamin White gets injured, what's going on? If Odegaard gets injured or his form's going on? If Kai Havertz, and even the fact, bro, no disrespect to Kai, because I think it's gone past criticism of him. If he is one of our most reliable attackers, where we failed upwards, he's meant to be a centre mid. If he's one of our strongest strikers and our most consistent attackers, with the greatest of respect to Kai, we're not serious about trying to win a league title. We're not. Because it doesn't surprise me that we will score in bunches, we'll thump up teams 3-4-5-0. But when it's truly on, when someone needs to get the ball over the net, he's not going to do that. Like, we're playing Moreno up front, regardless of how we got here. This is how we got here. Which, bro, everyone is in trouble with me. Everybody at this football club. Because I'll be honest, it's a disgrace, bro. It's a fallacy, really. We've got such a base and we're not kicking on. And how long before stagnation? Ultimately, we've seen stagnation at this moment in time. And then, as you said, bro, all the other sports teams are doing wavy. And then look at us.
Yeah, the Rams
in
are
the
really
abyss.
good. I think the bedrock of a good team and a good club is what they do behind the scenes and how they run the club behind the scenes. Liverpool, as much as they don't spend as much money as us, or they didn't need to spend as much money as us over their rebuild compared to like the last couple of years, and they won things a lot quicker in their rebuild than we did, right? We still haven't won. I think they won in their 4th year, I forget.
And they were getting to finals as well, bro. I'm not gonna
They
lie.
got to a cup final in their first year, lost, but I think the real difference is that they did things different from Arteta. Arteta built the team from the back forward. And the situation is, with you building a solid defense and relying on a weaker attack, you are leaving yourself in a situation where you can compete for the league because you have a solid base, but you're going to lose games because you're going to lose games because you don't have the goal scorers to get you over the line in certain games. Now we need to go and get that goal scorers, the 2 goal scorers. If we get Nico Williams and we go and get a striker that can bag 20 goals, or not even 20 goals, just get us 18 goals. Add 18 goals into this team. That is the difference probably between 6 wins. Do you know Mo Salah has won Liverpool this season 33 points by himself?
That's the difference, bro. And it's not even a most Salah thing for me. It's
himself.
like what you said there. If we just had, obviously I don't want this, but if we just had a striker that could have got us 10 goals, and even when you look at Liverpool, yeah, obviously when you think of Liverpool, it's Salah.
To be fair, that was Jesus. Jesus got injured.
Come on, man. He was finding his form. He's been allergic to scoring, bro. We don't even have a little Origi who might score 6 goals across a season, but they might be the folklore kind of games. And it is a shame. Jesus did get injured when he was put in form, but
he was on fire, bro.
But we're carrying too many passengers, man. And that's where I can't say Arteta's built a good squad, which I do believe he has on one hand generally. But it looks like there's cracks. You see, when you're trying to win a league title, there needs to be questions answered. I feel we're carrying too many players in the squad. I feel there's only certain players that I expect, and mainly the defenders, as you said, that's going to give me a serious level of performance. There's only a certain man that's going to stand up to be counted, and certain man I can really rely on. They're all good lads, though. This is just the reality.
Something? Jesus, this season, Jesus is one off his goal tally from last year.
And that's that again. That big him up because you have to. You never want to laugh at someone that's struggling. They're trying, but so is Martinelli, bro. Before his injury, but the statistics, what is that like 5-6 goals, bro, in the league?
No, he
That's
has
it.
7 goals all comes.
So how many in the league?
3.
So big him up for that, but it's still not enough, brother. Like Martinelli, I love Martinelli. I'll back him to the death. He's, I think, prior to his injury, won off his Premier League record last year. But that's 6 goals, bro. And as you said, and as
Martinelli
you
has
know, our
what?
defenders can't bail us out all the time.
Martinelli has 6 goals. Yeah, 6 goals in 22 games.
This is what I'm saying. Like we're bringing blunt butter knives to a
No, but
gunfight.
he was on pace to get double digits easy.
Yeah, but he's injured, bro. Either way, with everybody fit, I think we needed 2 attackers. Whether that's down to Arteta or the players, or not the players, the owners. If I can see this and you can see this and everybody else, brother, and I know we're not flies on the wall. We don't know if they could have said we'll get Nico Williams, we'll do this, we'll do this. Arteta said no. We don't know if Arteta was begging for the X, Y, Z, and they said no. I can only deal with what I'm seeing in front of man, bro. And it's a fallacy. It's courageous if we were to win a league with no strikers and Kai Havertz down is looking well. But when I remove emotion and look at the cold-hearted truth, bro, we're building a house on the sand, bro. And I think it's come to roost at this moment in time. I think
The number
Arteta
one
wants to
thing
win
we
a
can
league
do
title.
this summer
This
is
is
get
more
the
how he's going about
proper.
it. Pardon me?
Go ahead. Oh
Yo,
no, I was going to say the number one thing we can do this summer, Deluded, is get a proper sporting director.
facts.
If we go get the guy from Real Sociedad, he has been able to get the likes of David Silva, Isaac, Zubamendi, some of these guys, some of the great players that have come through Real Sociedad have come through while he was there, and he's been a key piece in getting those players through that club. And if Arsenal are not going to go and spend money on world-class players, we need to have our money invested in world-class recruitment team to get us to
Proactive, bro.
quality.
Look at Liverpool's players. Apart from Alisson and Van Dijk, where they signed for big bad money, man, weren't rating Salah the way they're rating him now. Mane and the
Even
rest of
Ryan
it. They brought
Gravenberch,
right.
he came from
Exactly.
Bayern. It was a savvy deal. Everyone knew how good he was at Ajax. He didn't work out at Bayern.
Love
Why
for the
did
super chat. Don't be rude though, man. But go on, bro.
Sorry?
No, I was replying to the super chat. I said love for the
No,
super chat, but they're
he's one
being
of my
rude.
guys.
Don't be
He
rude.
always does this.
Oh, fair enough.
He's a Liverpool fan. You can read it. It's fun.
Where is it gone?
He's a
All right.
Liverpool fan.
We're not
Liverpool fans do not make
disrespecting my guess. Where is it? Let me find it again before you
The
carry
moment
on.
I seen the picture, it's Michael Ramsey, right?
Is it? I didn't even see the name, man. I just said one love for this. I can't even find it now, bro.
The moment you see the picture with the African flag, yeah, it's
Waste
Michael.
money, gal. You said Liverpool should get on with it last year. Karma, Arichi, you're crying, a spoiled child. Fair enough. You said to read it, fam.
Yo, Michael, allow it. Listen, you guys won. Just be gracious in victory. You don't have to come here and cuss out people.
Well, look, I'm not going to be gracious when Arsenal win, but you are right. We do have to kind of hug that and hold that, man. I want to ask you this though, like, honest to
The
God,
reason
though,
why
like,
Liverpool fans are going to give it is because, as Arsenal fans, I'm not going to lie to you, I have not been looking down. I've only been looking up. I've not been speaking bad about Man City too much. I've not been speaking bad about Spurs, Chelsea, Man United as much. The team that I've been focused on has been Liverpool, and deservedly so, as they've been the team that we've been chasing. You don't spend the whole season talking about the team 15th in the league, 12th in the league like Tottenham, Man United, do you?
that's true. So, like, honestly, hand on your heart, yeah, like, are you really confident that? Pardon?
We win the league next year. Netflix FC. That's what we have to believe. And Deluded, it might sound delusional coming from me, or it might sound silly, but there's actual facts behind it. We are the best setup team for next year, regardless what happens.
Talk to us. Let's hear this.
Mo Salah, Van Dijk, Trent. There's questions over Liverpool's future with those 3 players still not under new contracts. Manchester City, we've seen it this year. It's not just down to Rodri missing. They needed a whole overhaul over that defense.
They started in Jan, though.
Fair play. They did get 2. They did get 2 young center backs, but they still need to overhaul the defense. They still need to overhaul the midfield. That is 2 huge components of your football team that needs to be overhauled. I don't believe that they're going to be able to overhaul that so quick, where they're going to be able to compete and win the league next season. It might need time to gel. And we've never seen Pep rebuild a whole team. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, as for Arsenal, we're going to have to find a way to replace Partey and Jorginho. in the aggregate or by getting 2 quality players in, and also improving our forward line. If we do not improve our forward line this season, forget about it.
And the bodies.
Forget about it. If we
You
don't
need to improve
improve,
the starting 11, and we need more bodies, surely, bro.
I'm
And a
saying
sporting
to the
director, as
point
you said.
where for one season, bite the bullet. Jesus is not going nowhere because he's injured. Tomiyasu is not going nowhere because he's injured. Get replacements for those guys get quality replacements in the attack. If you want to shift out an attacker, they're gonna probably shift out Trossard if they're gonna shift out an attacker out of this team.
Can we
But
even afford
regardless,
to
you
let him
need to
go?
bring us 2 proper attacking players. Yeah, my guy just said that. I literally was just gonna say that Trossard's probably gonna be the one that leaves.
You really think we're the best set up team? Because like, what have people got to fear, bro? Because for the last 3 years, they know we're good against the top 6. We can do the mid and low blocks. We're not happy with how we score goals, but we got 90 odds. What's different?
We just need 2 game changers in the attack. We just need to solidify the midfield with some replacements for what Partey and Jorginho have been giving us in the Zubimendi and one more piece, and that's it. 4 signings could be the difference between Arsenal being spoken about as not winning the league again, or Arsenal being the team that's being spoken about as the best set-up team for the next decade. Because look at the age of our players, the profile of our players. I'm not over-exaggerating right now when I say this. If we can hold on to some of our key pieces, we have ourselves set up very well. And I'm not the one saying this. Football experts are saying Arsenal are one of the best set-up teams. If I can go and find it for you. There's websites coming out here saying Arsenal, based on their construction, the age of their team, the profile of the players, and how many years they have them on a contract. We're one of the best set up teams, not only in the Premier League, in the world when it comes to our age of our team. And maybe
people can see the ethos and all of those things, but like, brother, over the line, are we like we are? All right, let's say Liverpool. Let's just assume Liverpool add on, because every team's gonna add. Liverpool, I don't know. Let's just say 2 of the 3 players of Trent, Salah, and Van Dijk stay, right? Let's just assume City bring in quality, and obviously, let's assume it's an anomaly of a season, like the City players get, huh?
Can I show you this quickly?
Go on. In fact, yeah, man. Hey, we want to hear this.
So you know,
I need to see. Right? I want to believe it, girl, man. You need to sell this.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this Club Elo? So they have Arsenal as the top club in Europe for like currently future-wise, based on projection.
2022, 23, I saw stats about we had the most valuable players as well, bro. And
but this is the first time in the club's history we have been valued as the best club in Europe based on projected future. They have us 4 points ahead of Liverpool based on this evaluation. They have us ahead of Inter. They even have us ahead of the likes of Real Madrid. They're looking at the age of the club players. They're looking at the profile of those players, scope to grow, and just what we're missing and what needs to be addressed also. Where Liverpool, they're looking at that. Look at how far Man City have fallen. Because of PSG's recent rebuild, they have them even ahead of them. They have PSG ahead of Man City. So,
and this is where the confidence comes from. About
this is where the confidence comes from. Some of you guys are gonna say you don't rate this. Leave the IT geeks to themselves. But when people say Arsenal are set up well, it's not a banter thing. There's actual evidence behind it and statistical data to show that now if that ends up to meaning something, it's really on us as a club. It's really on the board and showing the ambition. It's really on the players with getting the results. But call it whatever you want to call it, Netflix FC, whatever it is.
Man.
I have to look at next season. I can't look at this season anymore. The season's pretty much done. We're not going to do nothing in the Champions League if Saka and Martinelli and all these guys are injured. And even then, it's a myth going up against Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. We have to see what we can do in that situation. But right now, I still have belief in this project and in this team because I see quality pieces left, right, and center. And similar to how Liverpool last season were in a situation where they fell off, we could be the team next season and go on and win it. Now, if we don't do that, then we can have a serious conversation about.
All right. Then I'll go on. But like, all right. So if me and you are this time next year, we are saying the same things, and we've added a striker and all of that, or we haven't. We're just here. We're second.
At that point, Arteta has nothing to hide behind.
Fair enough.
Because this whole time I've been asking Arteta to go and sign a forward or 2. And if they don't go and sign 2 forwards this upcoming summer, he should quit because we're not gonna win anything
He ain't quitting. He's
unless
got
it's
15,
Isaac by
15 mil a year,
himself.
bro.
Unless we go and sign Isaac and no other forward, that's the only person who I think could raise our levels by himself. Because Alexander Isaac is in a world of his own. He is the best striker in the Premier League, and he's up there with the Lewandowskis, the Erling Haalands, and the Harry Kanes right now. And I think out of anybody you could sign in the world, Alexander Isaac is probably the crown jewel of all strikers that could be.
If we don't get him, I'm not saying you say this, but if we don't get Isaac, is there an excuse not to sign anyone? Because there is that rhetoric about there's no players about and all of that kind of stuff.
Go get Sesko, go get Nico Williams, go invest in the midfield and get me 2 midfielders. Because if you're gonna get Isco, I kind of understand you saying, you know what, we spent 150 on him. I don't think I can get you four players in key areas. But if we don't get Isco, Isaac, and we end up getting Sesko, you better still go get Nico Williams. You better still go get Zubamendi. You better still go get another midfielder of quality, because with Thomas Partey and Jorginho leaving, we're gonna need bodies. And I don't want to hear about this stuff where we don't need bodies. You're gonna need bodies in the midfield. I don't know if Miles Lewis-Skelly is the plan to be played in the midfield going forward, but even then, I want to see proper planning put in place. And if we don't hear proper planning, at least give us some sort of thinking behind what you guys are thinking, because as fans, we have an idea of what we want and how we need to get there. But as a club, we don't see a direct line and proof that you guys also see the same issues and you guys want to address it. Look at Man City. They have issues in their defense. They go and sign 2 young players. They have issues in their forward line. They go and sign Marmoush. Their fans and the club seem to be headed in the same direction.
Are we in a transition as well then, Miguel, man? Because like I just thought of this. If we bring in Isaac and we bring in a left winger and we bring in a centre mid and Partey and Jorginho leave, that's 3 players to the starting 11 surely that are going to have to adapt. Obviously, not everyone's going to leave, but you can make a case of several one of our players, from Trossard to Kivior to Zini to Jorginho to Partey, all departing. Could that not be us in a transition kind of thing as well?
Liverpool lost Roberto Firmino and Mane. Were they in a transition or were they retooling?
Retooling, I guess.
Yeah, so we're retooling. It's not a transition. We're still in our phase. And you know something? If
come on, allow me with the phase thing, man, please.
No, because bro, people need to hear this. If Arteta gets sacked tomorrow, the phase still continues. It doesn't end with Arteta. The phase is to get you to silverware. The phase is to get you to a stage where you go and win things. If the manager is sacked tomorrow, we are not phase 1 with the new manager. It's not phase 1 with Arne Slot. It's continuing from what Klopp did. So Arteta, the reason why people are saying phase 1, phase 2 is because he ripped it all down and started from scratch. That's what Manchester United are trying to do. That's what Chelsea is doing, ripping it up, starting from scratch. It's basically taking a house, demolishing it, and rebuilding it.
Rebuilding the foundations.
Yeah, and you speak about it all the time. You're not going to have a good house without having a good foundation. You're not going to have a nice upstairs balcony window without having a good roof over your head. You know what I mean? You need everything to be put in place. And right now, I think we've been looking for that luxury piece, but at the same time, we haven't had that luxury piece to get us over the line. It's impressive, in my opinion, for Arteta to be in 3 league titles with Erling Haaland and friggin' Mo Salah in the other team, with us having basically set pieces and Saka and Havertz as our best goal scorers. It's actually quite impressive, and I think some people don't understand.
Is it impressive or is it competent?
No, I think it's quite impressive.
You've done in the last previous years. Is it too much of a shock for you to still be up there?
He got 15
when you're ahead of your process than everyone else.
He got 15 goals from Gabriel Jesus. He got 15 plus goals from Saka. He's gotten 15 plus goals from Kai Havertz. He's gotten a lot of players to contribute to a high level. Those players are not going nowhere. If we go and still sign a striker and we go and sign another left winger, we are now going to have an abundance of goals, an abundance of problem solvers. This stuff about plan A, plan B, we're now going to add another plan. We're going to now have plan G if we with 2 new key pieces. And I have a lot of optimism. I still believe in the manager. I still believe in the.
Where does the optimism come from, though? Like, where's the concrete evidence? Because
It
some will
comes
say
from
it's
the
every
fact,
predicted metric other than with what we see with our eyes. I'm just genuinely asking.
diluted. I look at the players that we have, and I say to myself, we have ourselves a really good team. We're missing key parts, which everyone points out. What makes you think if we don't go and sign those key parts, and even if they give us 60 to 70% of what we expected from them, that we're not going to go and get over the line? People complain about the squad not being complete. Now that we're almost at the stage where we just need to put the final bow on the tie, everyone's saying rip it all up, which is crazy to me. It's crazy to me that nobody sees it the same way as I do. I
What if they
genuinely,
say this though, Egal?
I
Yeah,
think
like, go
it
on, go
makes
on.
me
I want
feel
to
like,
ask you that.
am I the crazy one or is everyone else? Because how is it that the whole football world sees Arsenal be so close and they say, you know what? Arsenal just need a forward. Arsenal just need a forward. Arsenal just need a forward. We go into the summer, we go and sign 2 forwards. People are going to then say, well, you're still not going to get over the line because I don't believe in this team. What? Make it make
What if it,
sense.
what if it's not even that? What if we flip it? Yeah, because there are some fans, because I see them in the chat now and they've been there. What if they say, do you know what, Arteta, you've done a lot of good for us, you've done a lot of bad, whatever people have to say, went from back to back eighth, as you said, set pieces, top 6 record, defensive, all of that. We got a base. We just don't think you're the one to get us over the line. So thank you for that. But our next one might be able to come in. As you said, we're still going to be continuing the phases, but just see something different and maybe have something different. What would you say to them?
If we go and address the forward line and we still have the same offensive issues, at that point it's a managerial issue and it's not a personnel issue. At that point, Arteta might have we might have gone to our farthest that we've gone with Arteta. But I don't think at this moment in time it is a managerial issue. I think it's a personnel issue. Simple as that. So that's where the project with Arteta would end, when it gets to a point where I feel like he no longer can get us to where we need to go because the team is fundamentally better than the manager.
I hear that. My last question for you, then, broski. Big up DJ and Egal. A question for Egal. Does the projected future guarantee us trophies?
I think not only does the age and the profile and the projected future, it should guarantee you trophies as long as you continue to improve. Now, if somebody else like Man City goes and they sign
It's a
3
good
world
point on
class
screen as well, but
midfielders,
gone.
if Man City go and sign 3 world class midfielders and they go and their young centre backs develop to the level of Saliba and Gabriel, in a year's time they could clear us. If Chelsea go and spend another £1 billion, they could clear us. It depends on what other people around you
Don't
do.
forget, Newcastle ain't going anywhere. Newcastle's a problem
It
for
depends
everyone in the traditional top
100%.
6.
It depends what other people around you do, but you ultimately control your destiny. We currently find ourselves in a really good situation. A lot of teams would love to be in Arsenal situation, as you said earlier in the video. It's just what depends on us getting over the line is the level of ambition and the proper recruitment.
Even with the recruitment, like people have said, Arteta's finally got his. My last question for you, then, like, where do we look at it? Like, obviously, you said the finishing touches, the added pieces, but many people will criticize these players, say they're not good enough, say this, that, the other, say they're good but not quite great. Question mark the depth. How far does it go that is on Mikel? Because the depth and the recruitment, these are all his players. If we're blaming Calafiori, it's surely on Arteta. If people got an issue over Mikel Merino, we hear Arteta was the driving force. Kai Havertz, even though we can't talk about him because he's not fit, that's on Mikel Arteta. Like, we can't always celebrate the W's and whisper the L's.
No, Arteta gets held accountable for mistakes in the transfer window, but I don't hold him accountable for not signing a striker.
That's fair. And I think the
Because
club,
I feel like
I'm not.
he's asked for specific strikers, which they've said is not good enough, or
I
the
need to
or the
see. I need to
finances.
see us get Haaland and Isak combined, because the
If
way
he
the
got Ollie
striker, we're
Watkins
looking for the
for
most
60 million,
magical striker based on what we hear.
if he got Ollie Watkins for 60 million in the January window, would have Havertz and all these guys still gotten injured?
Probably. Like, it's a ticking time bomb. But then as I said, it's like, it's gonna rain. You've got a jacket. You might not have the jacket on, but you can put it on. Yeah, they are. Because where you look at the minutes, and remember, man, you was here when Wenger was our manager. He used to talk about the red zone. These players in this day and age, they're playing way more games for club and country than they ever have been. I must admit, whether it's Arteta or the board, I think they've let the players down in terms of a welfare factor, because we've got more games with less players. And as you know, the one players that are going to be fit, you're going to run them into the ground, bros. It's like, it's jarring, man. It's jarring. And I'd say kind of what you're alluding to. Clearly, you're a lot more positive about this than me, yeah. But the jarring thing is, we're here. Well, this is the league. This is where Liverpool are this year. This is where City were last year. We're here. We're banging on it. But you see, to make that jump, it's like that. There's so much fine margins for me that have to be arrested. And honestly, to God, bro, I think a lot of our issues are self-inflicted in a club. Big up Liverpool and what Arne Slot's doing. But I look at my club way before I can say Arne Slot's did this, that, and the other. The year before, City, no shame in losing to City. But we crumbled off our own back. The year before that, I'm sure City won the treble. Fair enough. First title challenge and all of that stuff. I look at the several games, and I know we all know you can't win them all. But you need to get over the line. Like, even when you look at Liverpool, when they've dropped points, they've still technically drawn. They've shown me they can win in different ways on a consistent basis. They can blitz you off the park. They can win like against Bournemouth, where they were crap really and they got something. They can win when it's neck and neck with Brentford. I don't see that on a consistent enough basis. I'm not saying we don't do it. I don't think we see it enough. And that's where at the start I said, when I see this, I'll believe. Pardon?
It comes down to attack.
Yeah. And that's the stage, man, because the attack, you're gonna have to spend big bread, or you're gonna have to do the Liverpool thing. If you could see the Mo Salah at Fiorentina before he's obviously gone and done what he's done, that's where I'm with you with, bro. I don't know what we're doing as a football club. Where's the direction?
Nico Williams, one of those two. Go and get me. You know what? Go get me Lookman and go get me friggin' Sesko, or you know what? Just swallow your pride and just go get the guy. Yeah, even Osimhen. Let's be honest, Osimhen would have joined Arsenal in the summer. Easily would have joined us. It's just Arsenal weren't going to value him at the same price as Napoli. We clearly did not even want the guy, Kvaratskhelia. We didn't want him. We could have got him. We didn't want him.
Yeah, we should have done that. We definitely should have done it. And it's scary, bro, because at some point, with it being a World Cup year, with the contracts, I'm not saying they're going to leave in the summer, but if you are Saliba and you are Saka and you are these half-decent players, it's the circle of life.
Like, criticize Arteta, he has too much power at the club. He needs to be. He needs to be told, this is the player who we think is going to reach a world-class level. It's an opportunity for us to sign him. I know you don't deem him the type of player you want, but I'm telling you, if you utilize him to how you're utilizing Martinelli or Trossard, you'll get better out of this guy than you would anybody else. So just take him and forget about the running back and everything. He does the creativity. He does the goal scoring. Just take him, and it will take our game to another level. He needs somebody telling him off about a signing instead of him just always being the one
he's got too much power, man. And the board, I'll be honest, like, let's be brutally honest. Obviously, it reminds me of a large part of the Emirates phase where you get top four, it's all calm. I think Arteta wants to win trophies. As I said, it's more about how you're going again about it and my criticisms of that. His top four is cool. It feels like there was more intention and tenacity and harsh decisions to get back into consistently qualifying for the champs than trying to pick Liverpool or City. We were seeing ruthless calls. Tierney dropped. David Raya coming for Ramsdale, Ozil, and all of that contracts ripped up. Now we're kind of resting on our laurels. I know you obviously got to go look after it. It is the whole club. The whole club.
They definitely tried, because that first January they went and bid for Mudryk. They bid for Caicedo.
What was we fighting for?
We're fighting for the league.
That was that's the season I'm referring to, where it was kind of I give them a bit of a blight. They didn't expect that. Now it looks like top four was and at them times there it is still the same thing. The year after, our foot's on the gas, bro. Not on the gas.
Last year we had FFP issues apparently.
Oh, come on. You really believe that bullshit, gal, man? Come on. These same journalists come out and say it's self-inflicted as to why we're moving like that. We've got a positive
PR, you're right.
Bro, they can't, like, this is where it goes back to the Cronkies. They want to do, and I'm not against self-sufficient and whatnot. They are trying to steady the book. Yes, I don't know if it's their money, but there is a correlation with in 2018 where they took full charge of this club to what they're doing now, being a bit more hands-on. But it's comfortable, it's nice, and you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable if you want to win the league. It's very cozy at this whole football club.
You need, in order to win the league, you also need goal scorers. We just don't have that. I think people need to accept.
And then you say Arteta's got too much power, but then you say he's not being backed. We got to make it make sense, guys, surely.
No. I think Arteta has too much power in the sense that, like, sometimes you need people in your recruitment team to be like, trust us.
I hear that.
Because Mo Salah would not be at Liverpool. They would have got Julian Drexler.
Julian Brandt as well, but that's it. That's why you need both. Like you've got,
They
had Michael Edwards. I don't know. People can criticize Edu. I personally feel Edu had a lot to be criticized for, but I think it's a thing where he just said, you know what, whatever I want to do, you're not listening to me. I'm gone. I don't think Edu owes us anything. I know and understand why people can be sour as to why Edu left mid-season, but at the end of the day, he owes Arsenal nothing. If you get a better job, more responsibility, you're going to keep it moving. You're not necessarily going to care about your owners or whatever, are you? So it is what it is. I want to ask you one more question, because I know you got to go look after the little one, and it was on screen, yeah? Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. But somebody asked you, so what? One more year of you've got one more year of Mikel Arteta.
I'm not putting a timestamp on it. I'm more or less just saying they have to do certain things to get to a certain level, and if they don't show that they're looking to do those things, what's the point of him even being here?
Fair enough. I just hope this time next year, bro, me and you are talking about what time we're going to be at the title parade, innit? But as I say, unfortunately, winners win and losers explain. 3 years, including now, that have been very different, and 2 of the 3 were won by the same winners. But unfortunately, bro, we're doing a lot of explaining in it. Regardless, like, we're just doing a lot of explaining. I just want my club to get over the line in it, and that goes to Arteta, these players, the owners.
People are saying, what does that mean? If I don't see them making signs to progress, and there's the same level of regression next season, there's no point of him keeping his job.
Fair. Let's see what I got, man. Let people know what content you got to come out, man.
I'm going to be doing a match preview with Nottingham Forest fan tomorrow, Wolfie. And if you guys,
that's going to be interesting. He's cheeky.
Yeah, he is cheeky. And then if you haven't already seen, I've done a bunch of content yesterday with some rivals, and I even did like a video just saying congratulations to Liverpool. So you can go check that out. And mostly just do TikToks. What?
Congratulations you made a video saying congrats Liverpool.
Yeah, it's done, bro.
Congrats to them, but fuck that. Like, congrats to them, but fuck that.
No, it's done, man. It's done.
Like, give them, all of that. But I ain't making no video congratulating Liverpool. I'm making videos condemning us, man. Like, even that, my personal thing, I know before we get out of here, a lot of people are crying about the guard of honor and all of that. For me, put your ego to the side. Sport is sport. Whatever way you shape it, Liverpool were the better men and women than us. They deserve that. And what I would say, whether it's the guard of honor that you're probably going to have to give Liverpool to go with how it felt on the last day of the season, everybody at this football club reflect, because you've been the brides. You've been the bridesmaids. You haven't been the brides. All we can do is go again.
Do you think if every Arsenal fan was humble for the entire season, that impacts the results?
No, I don't give the fans. It doesn't mean anything, bro. Like, obviously, fans in the stadium, they give a club a boost, but that's all superficial, bro. The players, because there's been times where, like, if we talk about Arteta, whatever people say about him, you could see the project that people are doing. At a time, it wasn't cool. Like you said, all them journalists and all them statistics that you brought up here, there was a time no one was doing that. It wasn't cool. You could only see what Arsenal was doing if he was involved. The times we had Benjamin White and Ramsdale. If they listened to the outside noise, where would we be? So I don't really think they give a flying monkeys. I know Arsenal fans are a bit special online. I actually like the fact that we're hated by everyone. I know it's not fair and woe is me and all of that, but I think some fans need to understand this is what comes with it. The Invincibles were not liked, bro. United, City, Liverpool were not liked, bro. No one's going to be liked. Nobody likes them. Nobody liked Henry at the time of playing. If you weren't an Arsenal fan, he was seen as arrogant. But yet nobody liked Muhammad Ali, bro. This is what comes with the sport. And I think we need to act like it, bro. And I do think for the Cronkies, kind of going with this zero atmosphere at the Emirates thing, if there's anything that's going to make them take heed, I don't think it's going to be us on fan channels. I don't think it's going to be the players. Bearing in mind, Declan Rice said in Jan, I hope we sign some players. It will be the empty seats. First time in a hot minute. I could be wrong, but against West Ham, people were cutting. So we're going to have to see, man. It's a next season thing. Congratulations to Liverpool and all of that. It is what it is, man. Again, people, if you're too lazy to remember what Igal said, all you need to do is check out the title. His YouTube channel's there. Go support the lad. Hopefully he's back on the show next week or whenever. Come on, my guy. Appreciate that. Let me let you get your little one, man.
No worries. Have a good one, man.
Come on, my guy. Peace. Like, comment, subscribe, sub to the channels. One love, folks, man. Safe.